I was lucky I had the great opportunity of working with Chris. I worked with him the first time, I think it was 1973 or 74. And the first photo that was really memorable was a picture of this beautiful model, Lisa Taylor. And he sat her in a bathtub with no clothes on and put a huge tray of little perfume bottles on her lap, or she should be holding the tray. And it was just the most erotic, sexy, but it ran in Vogue, double page spread in color. It's just the most beautiful picture. I have it in the gloss book that was Maurizio, the Padilla brothers just produced this gorgeous book a couple of years ago. And I'd worked with him a couple of times before, but this picture just blew everybody away. I mean, Lisa Taylor was one of the most popular models of her day. And she was also, I think Irving disowned her when I saw the picture. That's not a lie. But Chris had that energy. He had, you knew there was going to be, oftentimes there would be something a little bit naughty.
Yeah. So that's the first time that you met with Chris?
Well, I don't think this is the very first time. There are a few other pictures in here that are a little bit earlier on. There's a small black and white photograph in here of a model named Denise Hopkins. And she's dancing with a guy. And there's another model named Christiana. And I think that might be the very first time, and maybe 73, 74. And the interesting thing about the photo is it's years before Studio 54. It's 4 years before Studio 54. But he got the feeling in the photo of what would be.
It's interesting because he went through different phases in his still very short period of time that he could shoot. And you were saying that we today have most probably a partial understanding of his work, right? Because he went through other eras where, he was making, women look extremely glamorous and less, into the porno world and a bit more into, I don't know how to say it. You would say
like more regal, more stature,
exactly.
Yeah, he had a lot of different tastes, but there was always something very, very elegant about his. And also, he was a very hard man to refuse. I'll say this on camera. This is the only time I'll ever say this on camera. I did a shoot for Vogue magazine, and it was with the model Gia. He had gotten a playground fence, gotten that into his studio and set it up, and he positioned the two models against the fence, and the lovely pictures were taken and they were printed for Vogue. After the shoot, as I was packing my makeup, he said to me, I would like to do some personal photos of you and Gia. And he walked out of the room, and I said, okay, fine. Then he came back into the room and he said, nude. And the hairdresser, Bob Fink, turned around and looked at me like, are you out of your mind? And I said, okay. I said, but the only thing, I'm going to keep my boots on because I'm very short and I have to have my boots on. So then Gia and I went out on the set and we did this posing nude for Chris for his personal photos. And in my mind, I was envisioning these beautiful Helmut Newton photos. I think when Gia first got on the set and she saw a fence, she thought she was going to climb the fence or something like that. I don't know. But that didn't work out. It went my way, thank God. And that was it. It was just a really, really lovely shoot that I don't think can ever be done again. And they tried to do it a little bit in the movie Gia, but you really couldn't do it. It just something that was very, I want to say, just natural, and it felt normal. And this I just posted on Instagram today. This is Gia on a raft in a pool that was inside a school. The water was kind of this murky green water. And I remember Chris saying to Gia, I want you to get into the water and sit on the raft. And she didn't move. And she just stood there. And then he looked at me, he said, Sandy, you'll do it, right? And I said, okay, fine. And I got in the water and sat on the raft. I posted the picture today on Instagram. And I still have the Polaroid. And then when she saw me do it, then she did it. It was fun. I don't know how anything like that would happen today, but...
And I was reading as well that he liked to work with a specific team, so you were a part of those, team members that he respected a lot, and therefore give you a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I always felt very free because I kind of knew, and I know the hairdressers, we would know what he wanted instinctively. And he would say, no, not like that, and not like that. I mean, you kind of knew he was very current. There was nothing nostalgia about him. He was very, very of the moment. And he was always seemed to me to be looking for something new. What's the next thing? He was moving on always.
Very visionary.
Yes. And he enjoyed, I know he used to work a lot with Maury Hobson for hair and Mark Pepino for hair. And he loved working with these guys who added things to the shoot. So they would be a good team for him to work with. They saw things that he didn't see yet and possibilities with styling and stuff like that. So, and Chris was into it. He was into the whole thing, the look of the girl, the look of the models. And it was a pleasure to work for him, really.
You were saying that Chris is actually quite visionary in his approach. And it's interesting because when we look at his pictures now with our eyes of, the 2019s, almost 2020s, we feel that he was encapsulating the era most probably better than anyone. And do you think it's because he was actually at the crisp of what was coming next?
Oh, yeah.
And so therefore, he had that fresh almost
he definitely wanted to be really right there on what is coming next. I went out one night to a punk club with him, and I didn't want to go to a punk club, but he wanted to go, and it was CBGB's. And I was more or less a Studio 54 person, and the two clubs were very different, and I was very nervous when I went in there. I just didn't feel relaxed or at home. But he liked that edge, that really maybe dangerous edge.